Welcome, guys, to the CSFL Season 3 Week 1 recap. Holy smokes, did we ever have a great one. And I got the brand new owner, Scorpions, here with us. Thank you so much for making the time and helping me break this down.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm excited. I know the owners are excited. Obviously, half the league is happy and half the league is sad. But week 1 was quite the hype. And we're going to start it off right here, right now, with the first game of the week was the Wildcats versus the Vipers. I got the graphic up on the screen there. Defending champion Wildcats beat the Vipers on the road. Look at the breakdown for the points per quarter. It was pretty even for most of the game. Right at the end, the Wildcats were able to come back and beat the Vipers, who took the lead right at the end. But the Wildcats were able to take the lead back. Do you got some key points for us, or any things that you want to mention about this game, Scorpions? What stood out to you?
This game was fantastic. It was a great game. I don't think the Vipers should be sad, even though they did lose. It was a fantastic game. They played really well. The only thing I can say is he got unlucky with the two. Instead of making the 2 extra points, his team went for the two pointers and missed both of them. So that led to him not tying it up and going to overtime. Was not going for those kicks instead of the two that tried to go for and failed.
Yeah, that's a good point too. And also, they ended up going for 3 field goals, settling for 3 field goals in the first half, which could have been easily 21 points. The Vipers played really well offensively, and the running back played really well. Phil Clemens, the quarterback, Derek Albright, even Shane Lott got involved. Their 3-year pro or 2-year pro wide receiver there, their big guy. And then, of course, their main guy, Edgar Plummer, their number 2, the veteran on their team. The Vipers looking really strong with the number 1 rated defense. But let me bring up their graphic here of their team before we move on to the next game here. On the Discord, where is it? Boom. Okay, we got the Vipers here. Let's go take a look at the Vipers real quick. The Vipers, they ended up finishing with the 9th ranked total defense, actually. But they finished with the 6th best offense, the 5th best on the in the air. But pretty mediocre now next week going against the Demons. The Wildcats, we'll take a quick look at what the Wildcats did. Wildcats ended up finishing with the 3rd best passing offense, the 4th best offense, the 9th worst rushing offense, 2nd best for turnovers, and they find themselves going against the 1-0 Dragons next week, that ended up finishing with the 2nd best total defense. So that's the breakdown of the Wildcats. That we didn't really talk about much about the Wildcats. The Wildcats actually played really well offensively. Jeannie Ingram, the quarterback, played really well. They actually started the rookie running back, Trevor Simpson, at running back. He got a touchdown, which was pretty exciting for the Wildcats organization. And the Wildcats end up getting a win against a really strong team in the Vipers.
Yeah, and that also another point, just a great victory for the Wildcats. It was a hard-fought battle, but pulled it out, and that's all that matters, really.
Absolutely, yeah, that was quite the impressive win from the reigning champs. The Wildcats have won it in season 2. Now in season 3, the defending champions, now going against the season 1 champions in week 2. So that should be exciting to see these 2 championship winning teams duke each other out. See if one of these 2 teams can get another championship this season. But I know there's another 10 teams that got something to say about that first. So
I
let's
think
get
this is going to be a good matchup. That matchup there,
that.
Wildcats Drag.
Yeah, the Wildcats Dragons. That's going to be a big fight for sure. For the number one spot. One of those teams are going 2-0, so that's
Right.
exciting. That is a for sure. And then we will bring up the next game. We'll move right into it. It was the Werewolves and the Cobras, and this has got to be the biggest shocker of the week. With the Werewolves scoring only 7 points, the Cobras struggling on offense for most of the game and then scoring a defensive touchdown right at the end. Vontrell Jean picking it up and running it to the end zone for a defensive touchdown, and the Cobras look amazing on defense, but again, was it the Werewolves playing really bad on offense, or do you think it was the Cobras playing really good on defense? What do you think?
So what I have here is it was honestly just a terrible showing by both quarterbacks, both sides. Um, eh, it was just awful. I think the Cobras quarterback did a little bit better. I mean, obviously they won the game, but it was just bad. If you see, there's 2 interceptions by the Cobras quarterback. I believe there's 1 or 2 from the Werewolves. It was just a bad, just defensive battle. That's all I have to say. Like it was literally just bad quarterback, good defensive battle.
Absolutely, and the big run in the beginning of the game by the Cobras running back Charles Hackett went for that big run, and then that really kept them in the game going. But that's all they did offensively, and they played well defensively, but their offense absolutely struggled. Both offenses struggled, like you said. Both quarterbacks actually had an under 60 quarterback rating.
Yeah.
So that is one of the worst performances we've ever seen, including preseason. So, holy smokes, I'm worried. I'm not too worried about the Cobras, obviously, because they not just because they won, but because of how good that defense looked. Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna, they looked really good.
Dominant.
Dominant would definitely be a great word for it. Um, there was quite a few players that were standing out to me. They got a really good linebacking core. They made a trade for their outside linebacker to get the Bears linebacker Mo Weaver, and now they got him on the outside, and now in the middle they got Todd Young, the second round draft pick from the Cobras, playing extremely well. I believe leading the team in tackles as well, and now they got on the outside Vontrell Jean, the rookie defensive player of the year, a rookie of the year in season 2. He played absolutely phenomenal, and now is coming out on with a year under his belt, and we're gonna expect even more from this guy. They got honestly, the Cobras might have the best linebacking core in the league, and they put it on display here against one of the best running backs in the league in the Werewolves. But enough about the Cobras. Let's give a little bit of shine to these Werewolves. And let me look up their rankings here.
They still have a great rush offense, I believe.
Let's take a look at these Werewolves. These Werewolves, they finished with the worst total offense, obviously, only scoring 7 points. They had the 6th best rushing offense, but the 3rd best defense because they held them to only 19 points, right? And
Right.
2nd best passing defense as well. Looking really good on the defensive side for the Werewolves, but oh dear God, does it get worse. They're going against the Piranhas next week, and the Piranhas scored 45 big ones, and they were only able to score 7. So these Werewolves, will they be able to slow down these Piranhas? Or will they be able to get the running game offensive going? I think they're going to bounce back. I think they're going to bounce back, and I think they're going to have a good game against these Piranhas. I don't know if they're necessarily going to win, but they're not going to have a repeat performance like this. I know the owner, and he's going to take this pretty seriously, and I don't know if he's going to make some changes. What he's going to do, if he's going to ride it out, maybe change the playbook. But I know that these Werewolves want to win, and they're going to do what it takes to turn this around.
Yeah, I think it's just a little bit of maybe coaching change, playbook change, or um, more of a balance. Yeah, I think it needs just more of a balanced offense, and I think this could turn around in a big way for him for the season. Goes with a little bit more of a balanced offense.
I agree. And the Cobras, they played well on defense, that's for sure, finishing with the first best defense, first against the pass, obviously only allowing 7 points. But they finished second in the rush, actually, going 160 yards on the ground. Only team to get more rushing yards than them was the Piranhas. So the Cobras actually did get quite a few yards on the ground. They played really well. But now this week they're going against these brand new Scorpions, the new kid on the block, and the Scorpions end up finishing with the fourth best defense despite the rating, and actually are second for turnovers. And the turnover differential is looking bad for the Scorpions because should I say for the Cobras? They turned it over quite a bit, and the Scorpions turned it over. So look for some turnovers in this game. Let's see if the Cobras can potentially go 2-0. They were 1-8 last season. Okay, they have a chance to go 2-0 to start this season. And I know it's exciting to see the new team 1-0, and they might go 2-0, which is also big news. But I'm really excited about these Cobras. Last season, finishing last, and now in week 2 have a chance to go 2-0.
Yeah, and they have a good chance to. Honestly, I think they do with their defense. If they can hold the Scorpions, then they have a great chance. If the Scorpions won their last game by turnovers, and unfortunately for the Blue Jays, but if that doesn't happen again, the Cobras could very well take this game very easily.
That's true. That's true. Let's see if the Cobras, or should I say the Scorpions, can they repeat that performance that they had against the Blue Jays, and can the Cobras, put up another defensive stronghold against one of these teams, actually on the road this time. So we'll see how that goes. Now let's move on to the next game. We got quite a few games here to cover. And the next game is the Dragons versus the Rhinos. Oh my goodness. This game, the Dragons with a comeback win against the Rhinos, scoring 17 points in the fourth quarter, coming back. It looked Rhinos game or Rhinos ball all day, all game. It looked like it was the Rhinos game. They ended up going 14 points. They went up 14-0, and the Dragons just slowly creeped back, and then that one touchdown with no time left just before halftime ended up being huge for them. These Dragons end up having a great draft, obviously looking completely different defensively, come out and lay the thumping on the Rhinos in the second half of the game, and the Rhinos are only able to score 7 points. Dragons end up getting 41 points at home to start the Season 3 campaign. And what do you think about this game, Scorpions?
Honestly, it was a match. It was a hell of a match. Rhinos were dominating the first half big time, and I don't know what it was. There was some sort of momentum change. Maybe it was home stadium as well. But the Dragons clicked in the second half and just stepped it up with their offense and held the Rhinos offense to nothing with their defense. So I don't know, maybe the new players needed a half to click on defense, but once that happened, it seems like they held them really well. Yeah, it was a good fight either way. They played well, both of them. So
I agree. I absolutely agree with you. And before we get into these Rhinos, because I know these Rhinos want to hear it, and I know these Rhinos are listening, but before we get into the Rhinos and what happened there, let's talk about these Dragons a little bit. Albert Maynor getting a sack, the rookie, in the first round taken by these Dragons. I know the owner's hearing this and is excited, seeing 97 get that big sack against 6'7" J.J. Horton, seeing the big man come down, the big redwood oak tree coming down, whatever you want to say. What a performance by this defense to shut the team down in the second half and only allow 7 points. The Dragons get a big score with Barry Perkins and Brendan Platt looking a lot better. But the quarterback actually for the Dragons did throw 2 interceptions. And in the end, they did not look good offensively at first. But ended up getting 2 big plays, obviously the big pass and the big run by R.J. Barber. And R.J. Barber only had 3 rushing touchdowns last season and ends up finishing this game with 2. So that's pretty crazy right there. And these Dragons are looking a lot better this season, end up finishing second last season. So man, these Dragons are looking strong. Let's bring up the Discord graphic for them. Boom. Oh, this is the Rhinos. Let's go to the Dragons. The Dragons are facing the Wildcats next. They're 1-0, and the Wildcats are 1-0. One of these teams are going to finish 2-0, like we're saying. But the Dragons finished with the 3rd best in points per game, 6th best for the pass, and 2nd best for total defense, which is no joke. 3rd best for pass defense. Man, these Dragons looking really strong, but they're going to get tested next week against these Wildcats, actually on the road going to the Wildcat Stadium. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the real test is going to be if he can keep that pass defense up there, playing really well, because Wildcats have the best pass offense going up against the best pass defense. So if he can keep those numbers low and you're in the Wildcats pass offense, then Dragons have a good chance to win this game.
That's a very good point, yeah, because obviously look at the 9th ranked rushing offense from the Wildcats. If the 3rd best passing defense from the Dragons can stop this 3rd best passing offense from the Wildcats, they can really make them one-dimensional, absolutely. And they got the juice to do it, these Dragons. So I'm definitely excited about that. And now, talk about these Rhinos a little bit. These Rhinos ended up finishing with the 4th best rushing offense. Not really good on paper anywhere else. They ended up finishing with the 5th best rushing defense, only allowing 78 rushing yards. 4th best for points per game, scoring 34 points. But they end up losing the game in the second half of the game. And these Rhinos, man, they were looking really good at first, running the ball really well, throwing the ball really well. J.J. Horton was playing pretty decent. But then again, J.J. Horton throws an interception at near the end of the game there, and it was a nasty one because it ended up turning into 7 points, I believe. So really was a momentum swinger, and the Rhinos ended up losing that game in a heartbreaker right at the end.
Yeah. So again, I think this is going to be a tough matchup. I don't think it's an automatic win for either team. I think it comes down to if the Rhinos, again, can stop the pass. If they can stop that pass offense of the Bears, they have a good shot at winning the game.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Slow it down a little bit, and I think you have a real good shot at winning.
Some cool stats for you just to throw out there is that the Rhinos in the last 2 seasons, they finished in season 1, they ended up finishing 0-2. Season 2, they finished 0-2, and now season 3 going against the 1-0 Bears, who the Bears last season went 2-0, and now have potentially go 2-0. It's looking like the destiny that the Rhinos going 0-2 and the Bears are going 2-0.
Yeah.
That's just the way it looks right now. But will they turn the tides? Will they change all that? Will they break the trend? Can the Rhinos do it?
Sorry. Honestly, I think this Bears offense is one of the best in the league, so it all comes down to the Rhinos defense. Are they up to the task of stopping one of the best offenses in the league?
Yeah, that's a big statement. Yeah, look at these Bears. 2nd best offense, 3rd on the ground, 4th in the air. first for points, scoring 48 points. No one scored more than them, not even the Piranhas. So that is pretty crazy. Also second for turnovers. Holy smokes. Yeah, they're looking scary.
Which
so
helped them on the point differential, but yes.
Okay, now let's go into the next matchup, which was the Bears versus the Gators. The Gators traded their quarterback away, and unfortunately, that is the story of the game. All eyes were on the quarterback for the Gators, the new quarterback, Ralph Dorsey, coming from the Blue Jays. Blue Jays and Gators swapped quarterbacks, and the Gators started Ralph Dorsey, quarterback of the Blue Jays. He played really well, had 3 touchdowns, 3-0, and then in the second half of the game threw 2 back-to-back interceptions, should I say, and really lost it for them at the end. Gators seemed to be really close, and then the Bears ran away with it at the end, especially after the 2 turnovers turning into touchdowns. The Bears, they looked great everywhere. They did. The Bears crushed the Gators, I could say. 48-26. That's the biggest win of the weekend.
It is.
And the Gators, one of the best teams in the league last season, going to the championship game, and they beat the Piranhas in the semifinals. They went to the championship game, just lost to the Wildcats in overtime, and now finished the season 3 week 1 0-1. And the Bears looking strong offensively, and they got a defensive touchdown with their linebacker, Jeremy Kennedy. They got an amazing middle linebacker with Corn Rogers and Ike Hall now that they picked up in the free agency. They just got monsters everywhere. Now they got Omar Randall. They're 2 safeties. You see 21 flying around on the field. And I'm like, who's 21? That's Tyrone Penn. That's their first round draft pick, Tyrone Penn, flying around, number 21, making plays everywhere. And number 25, Grant McCormack, the free safety that they drafted. Oh yeah, they got the first best strong safety and the second best rated free safety in the draft. Can you believe that?
It's showing up too. 2 interceptions. Whether it was them or not, they're helping the team get those interceptions in some way, or it's showing up. You can see it.
Yeah, they're really flying around in the air, and the Gators were consistent. They scored 6, 7, 7, and 6. Scored every quarter. They definitely were keeping up, but then the Bears kind of ran away with it, especially after the big turnovers. But the Bears actually got a really good running game going. They struggled last season. They were the last in the league last season for rushing yards with William Hillard. And William Hillard comes out here and gets over 120 rushing yards, gets a touchdown. And I know that the Bears owner is really excited about the running game, and all the other owners know. We were talking about these Bears, especially in the power rankings. A few owners put them pretty high because they were great at everything last season. They had a good defense, a good passing game. The only thing they lacked was the running game. And now that they got a nice running game going in week 1, they look really scary.
Yeah, so what I wrote about this game is are the Bears the team to beat? Are they the team to beat?
Yeah, that's a good point. And the Gators here, they don't look the same. They had I would say maybe an average draft. I would say maybe not the best draft, that's for sure, but they weren't the worst. But they had an average draft. Didn't do too crazy, but they got the needs that they needed at the defensive linemen and a couple linebackers. But again, the Gators, they just don't have that firepower on offense, it feels like, with this new quarterback.
Yeah, the Gators, I mean, honestly, it's just the turnovers. The quarterback played well. If he didn't throw those interceptions, he played really well. But unfortunately, he did throw those interceptions, and that's the thing to worry about.
And they couldn't get a running game.
Otherwise,
they had no running game, no help either.
Mm-hmm.
So that was another thing as well. So let's bring up the graphic in the Discord of the rankings. Let's bring up the rankings here for the Gators. Let's go to the Gators first. The Gators, I'll go 0-1, finish with the 10th ranked in points per game. 5th offense, though. They actually had 418 total yards. 10th for rushing offense. Look at that, 57 rushing yards. It's just not going to get it done. They got a great running back there, too, with Matt Davis. Passing offense, they are 2nd in the league for passing offense. Like you said, the quarterback did good. Besides those turnovers, he ended up finishing with 361 yards. So,
Right.
yeah, he's 2nd in the league for passing. So he definitely was slinging it. But this total defense, 2nd last and 11th ranked, and also 9th ranked for turnovers. And now this next week, they're going to face these Blue Jays, and guess what? Either the Blue Jays or the Gators, some of the top tier teams. One of these teams are going 0-2 next week.
Correct. Yeah, and this one's again. I mean, they're all tough battles, of course, but if we're looking just purely at stats right here, it's going to be a real tough one, and it's about the Blue Jays being able to stop that pass offense.
Yeah, this 2nd ranked pass offense in the Gators and the 4th best ranked pass defense.
Or one of the two teams needs to get a running game going, because neither of them had it going.
That's a good point. 10th and 11th. Look at that, 35 yards and 57 yards. Neither team threw the ball well at all. And
Run game. Yeah.
Yeah, neither of them ran the ball well. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these two teams, the big story before we move on, obviously, is that they traded quarterbacks before week 1. So now in week 2, they ended up going against each other. So I'm really excited. There is new news, though, that was just released by the Gators that they aren't going to start Ralph Dorsey, the quarterback for the Blue Jays. They're going to go with the backup. So I don't know.
Oh, wow.
That's just breaking news that just came out, but we'll see if they stick to that. They still got till Thursday or to Wednesday to get their depth charts in, but we'll see if that sticks. And if not, honestly, I want to see it. I want to see the matchup. You want to see the rivalry game, right? You want to see this quarterback stick it to his old team, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
I would love to see that.
Yeah, right? So we all want to see it. Blue Jays want to see it. You know, the fans want to see it. All the owners want to see it. Hopefully the Gators give us what we want to see. But if they don't, it's okay. It's their team. And we'll see how they do it. And maybe they'll switch the quarterback up. And it won't be about the quarterback. And then the team can just focus on winning instead of getting in the hype of this big quarterback matchup. And maybe just focus on the game. So it's a cool move by the coach to kind of just get rid of all the hype and not get rid of the distraction. Maybe get rid of the distraction's the right way to say it.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, after that, what was the other one? Was the Bears. Let's get into the Bears, right?
Correct.
The Bears. Great things to talk about the Bears. 2nd in turnovers, obviously. 2nd in total offense. 3rd for rushing defense. 1st for points per game. 3rd for rushing offense. 4th for pass. That's all top 4 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 categories. Out of the 8 categories here, 6 of them they're in the top 4.
That's insane. They're looking like the team to beat. Like I said, I honestly think they're the team to beat.
Oh, poor Rhinos.
Unfortunately.
Man, poor Rhinos. That's all I gotta say to that, because, man. But
yeah, it's going to be a tough one for the Rhinos.
It's going to be a tough one for the Rhinos because they struggle of throwing the ball already with that 10th. And this passing defense, even though it's ranked 11th, has got those 2 guys back there, man. So we'll see what the Rhinos decide to do.
The only reason I think it's ranked 11th is because the Gators were playing from behind
Right.
most of the
Yes.
second half, so they were slinging it a lot.
Right. That's exactly right. Okay, so 2 more games to cover. And the second last one here is the Scorpions versus the Blue Jays. That's right. Your team, the Scorpions, they come back. They go blow for blow with a lot of owners and a lot of fans. A #1 ranked team in the power rankings, the Blue Jays. They had a phenomenal draft. They have a phenomenal team. They got the new quarterback, Eric Reeves, one of the best quarterbacks in the draft in the league, should I say? Eric Reeves, and they got him in a trade. The only thing they had not going for them last season was a quarterback. Now they got him. They literally have everything everywhere. They got a good running back, good quarterback, good receivers. You name it, they got it. Blue Jays, they did everything right. The quarterback came back. It was 27, and they got 28 points. It was 28-27. The quarterback for the Blue Jays did everything right, won it for his team, and the defense let him down. There's a guy called Josh Shot out of a Buchanan that plays for the Scorpions, and he had a play of a lifetime, and of a game of his lifetime, and he actually had the game-winning play there to get them in field goal range, and kick the field goal to win it by 2. Holy smokes, what a thriller. I'm going to say it was the most exciting game of the weekend. What do you think?
I mean, obviously, Scorpions are but it was a hard-fought game. It was tough. The fourth quarter was looking really scary. I was stressed out. You know, my adrenaline was pumping the whole time, of course. Um, Honestly, the 2 turnovers won me that game. If it wasn't for those 2 turnovers, I would not have won the game. The one of them was a field goal, and the other was a touchdown. And that field goal is basically what won the game. Other than that, yeah, it was a hard-fought game. I came out on top, luckily, and I guess kind of watch out for the Scorpion. Hopefully not too much, but
Yeah,
yeah.
the Scorpions, whether you like it or not, or anybody likes it or not, even the older the teams, original teams, or the owners don't like it or not, the Scorpions are hot. The Scorpions are the new kid on the block with the new shoes and the new kicks that everyone's jealous of. They have a great team, phenomenal offense, slacking on defense, but man, you wouldn't think it last game. They held them to 28 points and really held them to one touchdown per quarter, which is pretty good defensively. Also, they had the 2 big turnovers. Scorpions, man, if they can get turnovers on defense and if they can play good defensive ball, man, they're going to be scary because they're already great on offense with their running back, Tiki Carter, their quarterback, Anquan Seymour. We used to call him Anquan Selfish Seymour when he played in the fantasy season, the original season for this league. The Scorpions were in, and he was just phenomenal, and he comes back into season 3, and he is absolutely killing it still. Left and stayed right on beat. They play great. These Blue Jays, they play great. Their quarterback went 4-0, had a really good quarterback rating, I believe, second best in the league for quarterback rating. He did really well on his brand new team. They didn't run the ball. They kind of abandoned the run, which was kind of scary because their running back was one of the best last season, had the most broken tackles, I believe, last season with like 54. I want to say it was in 9 games. He was just knocking people over, and Blaine Strickland only gets 57 yards in this game. And both these teams, man, you know, they got really good running backs, but the Blue Jays just couldn't get it done. They got it at the end, but the defense let it down. The defense let them down, the Blue Jays. That's for sure. The Scorpions should have lost by 1. But Anquan Seymour showing why he is one of the best quarterbacks, believe it or not, in the league. So let's move on to the rankings here. So the rankings for the Scorpions Scorpions finish 1-0. An exciting game next week going against the 1-0 Cobras. They ended up finishing with the 4th best defense. Can you believe it? That ranked defense of the Scorpions, they're 4th. Are you kidding me? 2nd against the rush, 6th against the pass, tied second for turnovers. Wow, that's scary. Also, they got the 5th best rushing game. That 9th ranked passing offense is deceiving. These Scorpions, you just can't say enough good things about them, but I'm going to tell you one thing. They are going to get challenged this week against this 1-0 Cobras that are... They know what it's like to lose. They are desperate for a win, these Cobras. They do not want to lose. I know that they want to start 2-0, man. That would be huge for their franchise to go 2-0 for these Cobras. So I'm expecting a really, really hard fight here for these Scorpions.
Yeah, this is going to be very scary. They have a very scary defense. They got the #1 best, obviously, right now. Their rush defense is not the best, which is good for me because I like to run the ball. But yeah, it's going to be a hard-fought game. He's got a good running back. We'll see if my defense can hold up on the run again, which would be great. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, the Scorpions, they look really strong, and they're going to get tested next week. But this is the Scorpions' first home game, regular season home game. So I'm really excited about these Scorpions hosting their first game in their first season ever. And they're at home starting 1-0, and holy crap, you know that stadium's going to be lit with a bunch of excited fans and owners.
Very, very excited.
So, and then we're going to go look at the Blue Jays now. Let's go take a look at these guys. These Blue Jays, obviously, now going against the Gators, who we talked about earlier, with the team, with their cold quarterback. They're going to the Gators, which means Eric Reeves. Whether the Gators plays Ralph Dorsey or not, the story is Eric Reeves is going to the Gators. He's going back home. He's going to go to the Gator Stadium, but when he walks in that stadium, he's going to be wearing blue. And he's going to be playing for the Blue Jays. And he's going to be mad, he's going to be angry, and he's going to throw for a lot of yards, and he's going to do really well against this 9th ranked passing defense, 11th ranked defense. Gators are in trouble. I think that the Gators are in big trouble here. Can the Gators stick up to these Blue Jays? Because one of these two teams are going to go 0-2, and that is just insane for me to think about. These Blue Jays finished with the 5th best defense, 4th in the pass defense, but like we said earlier, really struggle in the rushing offense, but they have a really good running back. It's only been one game. Let's not hit the panic button, people. Let's just relax here. And I think the Blue Jays are going to be just fine. I think they're going to do really well next week, maybe get away with the win. It's hard to say, obviously. These games could go any way, but the Gators looking like they're going to get in trouble here by these traveling Blue Jays and their former quarterback coming to town.
That's correct. I feel the same way. It could go either way, but I feel Blue Jays probably going to.
Well, we'll see how that game goes. That's going to be a key matchup for CSFL fans everywhere. The quarterback, Eric Reeves, that took the Gators to the championship game last season. MVP candidate 2 seasons in a row. Gets traded to the Blue Jays, and now the Blue Jays are coming to the Gators' hometown. That's just story writes itself. So, let's move on to the last matchup, which was the Demons versus the Piranhas. The Piranhas scoring 21 points in the third quarter. This is what they do. They scored 28 points in 2 back-to-back playoff games last season. 28 points in the fourth quarter, not the second half, fourth quarter. These Piranhas are they're like marathon runners. They play average the whole game, and then they just out outlast you, they outwear you, they just get better as the game goes, and the other team gets worn out. They just, I don't know. There's just something that they're putting in the water of this Piranhas facility, because their running back's phenomenal, their quarterback's phenomenal. They're just amazing. They're just the best team in the league. And they went to the championship game the first season. They went to the semifinals in the second season, and now they start 1-0 in season 3. Piranhas, they welcomed the Demons with a big win. They welcomed them to the league with a big win, and this is definitely a David versus Goliath type of game. But hey, the Demons scored 31. They held their own. It was 24-24 in the third quarter, and I remember saying that, like, wow, these Demons are really stepping up to it. And then I believe it was, I want to say it was about 1 minute on the game clock. Piranha scored. They turned it over, then scored again, and it was like, wow, here come the Piranhas, right? So,
Yep.
what do you think of this matchup? Give me your little breakdown of this, the last game of week 1.
So, I mean, I think this game was won because of turnovers. I mean, the Demons did hold their own. They were throwing the ball all over the place. I think they did give up on the run too much. I think they need to run it a little bit more to keep the defense a little bit more honest. It could have gone either way with turnovers, though. Each team at least fumbled it, or okay, so the Demons threw 2 interceptions and fumbled it once. The Piranhas got all those turnovers, correct, and then the Piranhas fumbled it 3 times but got all 3 back. So unfortunately the Demons didn't get one of those turnovers.
Wow.
Got bad bounces. If they would have gotten 2 of those turnovers, it could have gone a different way. You never know. They could have scored 2 more touchdowns, and it would have been a tie game.
Of course, yeah, and they kept it close enough for that to happen. That's for sure.
Correct.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good game. It just fell apart at the end a little bit for them. If they would have gotten those bounces, gone lucky for them, though, it could have gone a different way.
Yeah, that would have been exciting for these Demons to knock out these Piranhas. That would have been a heck of a story, but that's not how it played out. Willie Burnside, the running back number 24 for the Piranhas, had other plans. They call him Willie Wiggles, or Willie Burn Your Backside, if you don't give him some respect, because this guy is absolutely, lightning in a bottle. He's just got feet like a gazelle, and he can run the ball like nobody else. He's one of the best running backs in the league, if not the best. Last season, he was first in the league for rushing yards. He's just the best. Willie Wiggles. I believe he had 5 games in a row last season where he had 3 touchdowns. So that's just bananas. Let's just say that.
These Piranhas are definitely by far have the best offense, in my opinion. Bears are looking pretty close, but I think the Bears are the team to beat, just for the reason that their defense looks so dominant as well. But these Piranhas are no joke.
Look at the Bears getting love, even not on their segment. Hey, I'm excited for the Piranhas and Bears game. That'll be a big one, that's for sure. But now let's talk. We could talk about the Piranhas all day. Let's give the Demons a little bit of love, because honestly, even in the power rankings, not a lot of people talked about these Demons. Demons, man, they look great offensively. Their 2 receivers, Ball was balling. Their Shane Antwine was just shining. Their quarterback, 30 completions, over 400 passing yards. Man.
Yeah, it was insane. Like I was saying, like they could have won this game with a couple of those fumbles bouncing the right way to them. They could have won this game. They played great, but honestly, like I said, I think they need to throw in some more runs. It slows down the game. It slows down the clock. You're not always just bombing it, getting a touchdown, and then letting the other team be on offense. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons. But they played a hell of a fucking game and stayed with the Piranhas for a while. Their offense, the quarterback was just throwing it all over the place.
You want to hear something crazy? The Demons finished with the first total offense.
Total offense. Just because of passing. Look at that. 20 yards on the ground. But still first overall offense. That's crazy.
I'm going to quote the owner of the Demons. He was on vacation this weekend, so he was unable to have an interview with us, but the Demons, quote unquote, screw the run, is what he said, quote unquote. He said screw the run, so he just threw the air, and they had crazy amounts of time. I guess he just really wanted to see what his aerial attack could do, finishing with the first best offense, first in passing offense. But again, 12th on the ground, allowing 179 yards on the ground. Yikes. They were last for turnovers with 3 turnovers. Like you said, the 1 fumble and 2 interceptions. And now they're going against the Vipers, who are just hungry for a win. I can't believe the Vipers lost. So they're going against the best ranked defense now. Going against the number 1 rated defense, should I say, going against the number 1 ranked offense. So these Demons, man, I'm excited for them. I'm excited for them to be in the league. I want to see more from that running back. I know they said screw the run, but I would love to see more of a balanced attack with Lamar Lester is the running back's name. He's number 37. He's a 93 running back. Pretty big boy. He's 6 foot, 185 pounds. But their quarterback, obviously, Eric Watson, loves to throw the ball. 30 completions.
Yeah, that's insane.
A lot of teams don't even have 30 attempts throwing it.
Yeah, I think between me and the Piranhas, we had less than 30 still.
Like combined?
Yeah, combined.
Yeah, the Demons, they just hucked it. That's for sure.
They did.
They didn't want to go against the Piranhas' rushing defense, I guess. But either way, they were really impressive. Lamar Ball had a crazy good preseason game. Lamar Ball, I believe he had over 200 receiving yards. And now in this game had another really big game. And also Shanae Twine. They got Ken Crosby, Steve Tanner, Lennox Taylor. They got quite a few monsters out there for the Demons offensively. But let's see if they can turn this around against these Vipers and avoid going 0-2. And one of these teams are going 0-2. And if the Vipers go 0-2 and lose to this new team, man, would that be huge for these Demons come down the stretch. Because it might not seem like a big deal right now. There's 11 games in the season, but down the stretch, it's really gonna be a big deal.
Gonna be a good battle again. I really honestly think if the Demons throw in some rushing, they're gonna give the Vipers a real hard time.
I agree. All right. And then the Piranhas, obviously, like we said, going against the Demons, you can't say enough good things about these guys. I don't think we got enough time in the segment to talk about how good these Piranhas are. They're just the best, but they're going against the Werewolves next week, and we'll see how that goes. That's for sure. But I'm going to end the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the recap and the breakdown. If you made it this long in the video, thanks for watching the whole thing. And I'm excited for week 2, and good luck to all the owners in week 2. And thanks for hanging out with me, Scorpions.
Yeah, very welcome. Thank you for having me. It was fun. I love talking about football. So
this is gonna be good. We got to do this every week and do a pregame too. It'd be cool. All right, guys.